Bionano Genomics, my exact earnings estimates. This is not BS. I'm not pulling these numbers out of my arse. If you watch 5 minutes of the video, or even 1 minute, you will understand how I actually got these calculations, at least partly. This is going to be very clear, and because I'm going to be presenting all of my evidence and all of the sites and all the information statistics that I got that I used to make and calculate my evidence, I'm going to be linking all of those in the description, and I'm going to pin it in the comments for you. Okay, so if you want to fact check me, if you just watch the whole video, there's no debate on whether what I'm using is going to be reliable sources or not. Okay, I've fact checked all this. I've done the research. I've done the digging. I was working on this literally for like 3-4 hours this morning. Here we go. Starting off with the earnings per share estimate. This is the first thing you need to know. Wall Street analyst is -7% or -7 cents. Sorry. Now this is how you get it. Now if we actually back up here, I typed in BNGO estimated earnings. Let's just go ahead and enter that again. If you think I'm freaking pulling, I don't even know, freaking hacking the system or something, I don't know. All right, -7 cents. That's what the Q4 2020 estimate is. How did they get this information? This is the range of Wall Street analysts' earnings estimates for each quarter. So that's what we're going off of. Let's go ahead and get rid of that, right? We have 1,000 more things to cover, as you can see. Now, this is the most important thing you need to understand, really. There's 2 things here that you have to understand fully, okay? Now, net income equals the profit of a business after you deduct all of the expenses. So this is what we don't know, right? We don't know the total profit of a business in Q4, right? There's no way we can know exactly, right? And we don't know the exact expenses either. So it's really hard to come up with this. So that's why it's hard to actually calculate earnings like this. But this time around, I did the digging, and we actually have some very, very telling pieces of information. Now, first thing we're going to be going over, profit of businesses. How did I come up with a profit, a total revenue number for Bionano Genomics? Well, it's actually very, very simple. If we go over here, there we go. You may be wondering, what is this? Brandon, this doesn't mean anything. Okay. If we actually zoom in here, revenue preliminary estimates for Q4 2021, 3.8 to 4.2 million. Now you may be wondering, what is this, Brandon? This is just some random thing, right? For Bionano Genomics. Yeah, it says Bionano Genomics, Sapphire, everything. Yeah, we don't know if it's legit though. Well, actually, we do. This is the Bionano Genomics website. If we click on this presentation right here, I already had it pulled up, but just for extra transparency, we're going to be doing.
Hello, everyone.
Here we go. Let's skip to the 1720. This is a presentation by the CEO, Eric Holman. This is the most reliable source you can get. The CEO of a company that you're looking for information for. This is basically as reliable as you can get, in my opinion. Now, as you can see right there, preliminary estimates for Q4 2020, exactly like we saw over here. Now, of course, this is their preliminary estimate. Of course, it can be wrong, but guess what? They gave us a range here, and they literally were able to put this. They're willing to put this out online. They gave us a range of $0.4 million. This is probably going to be accurate. I'm assuming this is going to be accurate somewhere in this range. I'm not assuming 4.2 million or 3.8. I'm assuming somewhere in this range. That's what their revenue for Q4 2020 is going to be. If that's wrong, if they end up with 2 million or 1 million or negative or something, if that was possible, if they really end up with no money or negative the total revenue, that's impossible. But if it's lower than this, then basically all these estimates are basically going to be pretty inaccurate if they do, right? If they miss this totally, it's going to be very inaccurate, the calculations we're going to be going over. But assuming this is the, we're not assuming, this is the CEO, this is the preliminary estimate. Of course, this is not a for sure estimate, right? It's not the final estimate, it's preliminary, but they gave us a big range. So we're going to assume that it's going to be somewhere in there. And that's why we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 estimates. All of them, I did the calculations, I did the hours of work. So let's assume now that's one piece. That's the profit of business. Stay with me here. This is really important. I will have the timestamps in the YouTube chapters and the text on screen telling you where to fast forward if you don't care about how I got the information, if you only care about the actual estimates. Here we go. As far as the deduction of expenses, how do we find this out, Brandon? There's no way. Now, I know you have some good ideas on this one, right? We have some good information here. I'll link all that, and I can fact check if I want. Brandon, you're pretty truthful on that one. That's good. But deducting expenses, Brandon, there's no way we can know that. You're right. There is no way we can know that. There's no way we can know either of these for sure. But we know we have a good idea of what that is going to be, and we have 5 different estimates to cover the wide range of estimates of actual numbers that are going to be coming out on the 23rd, on Tuesday, on March 23rd this week. But as far as deducting expenses, we have a good idea as well. Actually, let's check this out. Total expenses for Bionano Genomics. Let's scroll up here. Bionano Genomics, BNGO. Here we go. 12 trailing months. This means the last 12 trailing months. Exactly. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? This is the 2019 year, 2018 year, 2017 year. Here we go. Now, total expenses. Now, if we just take an average, let's just assume the worst. Let's just assume, it's been steadily increasing, really. Basically, it's been increasing, and these numbers are in thousands, so these are going to be millions. And before we actually go into the deep calculations here, and the averages and the fractions and everything, it's not that deep calculation. It's not that hard, really, for most math competent people. I think I'm not that great at math, but I can do this at least. I think I can be wrong on something. I can be looking too closely into something or not looking enough at one thing, right? I can do miscalculations. I can make mistakes. I'm not saying this is perfect. This is my opinion. These are my estimates that I came up with using using my calculations, using this calculation right here, literally. Okay, now if we take an average, let's be more fair. Let's be more bearish than bullish, right? So let's assume that the Q4 total revenue. Now, of course, remember, these are all yearly expenses. We just want to calculate one quarter. So how do we figure that out? Well, one way we could do that is we take an average of all of these and then divide that by 4. Now, why do we divide that by 4? Well, because we just want one quarter. So if we divide that by 4, we get one quarter. We get the average of all of this. We get one quarter of the average of all of this, essentially. I hope that makes sense. But if we just take the most bearish one, right, the last 12 months, so let's assume the total expenses for Bionano in the last year, in the last 12 trailing months, right? 12 months is going to be a year. Last trailing year, right? It's going to be 41 million. Now, if that's a year, right? So we got to convert that to one quarter. So we divide that by 4. What is that going to roughly be? 10 million. 10 million. So that's the total expense. Let's just assume 10. Let's just assume 11 million or 10 million. That's why we have a ton of estimates, though. So I gave you the percent. I'm giving you the percent chance, and I'm giving you different net incomes. That's what we're going. That's the variable that changes every time. So let's assume for this first one. Well, for the first one, we're going to be assuming negative 15 million. 15 million in the hole. That's the net income. And remember, the net income is not just. Sorry for switching back 1,000 times. The net income is not the total expenses only, right? It's the total revenue, right? So and that's for the year, right? 7 million is for the year. This is misleading. You got to divide that by 4. You got to divide this by 4, right? This by 4, right? Everything. Okay. So if we go back down here, but we have an idea of what that revenue for quarter is going to be, right? So because of this bad boy right here, this genius little thing, I'm really glad I watched this presentation so I knew where to go get it. So yeah, we're just going to be assuming $4 million there, and we're actually going to be assuming $19 million in total expenses. So let's just be very, very bearish. I know this is complicated. I know I'm ranting a little bit, right? I'm trying to be as articulate and as quick as I can be with the information without just blowing your head up and mine as well, right? So if we take that and if we actually just get a very bearish estimate for one quarter, if we actually half this, roughly we'll get 19 million in the hole. Negative, right? This is not negative, right? Because it's it's the total expenses, but expenses are negative on the balance sheet, right? They're going to be, well, not technically on the balance sheet. This is the balance sheet, but they're not good. They're not pluses. They're minuses to your net income. So if we assume negative 19 million in the hole, and negative 19 million total, or 19 million total expenses, however you want to think of it, it doesn't matter. And then we take that, and then the difference, and then if we add that from that 19 million, if we add in plus 4 million in the actual revenue, we get 15 million in the hole. Now, of course, this is the unfairly bearish estimate because the chances of Q4 total expenses being 19 million is pretty low, in my opinion. Now, of course, we don't know, but based on the historical data, let me know in the comments if you think the total revenue or total expenses is really going to increase, right? Let me know. But I don't think it's going to exponentially increase, but it could. And if it could, we're going to be screwed. But I don't think it will. That's why I have the most conservative, if you're in regards to being bullish, right? The most conservative and the unfairly bearish estimate. That's what I have. Negative 50 million in the hole. This is the calculation. Now, how did I get this calculation? Here you go. This is according to Investopedia. Earnings per share equals the net income minus the preferred dividends, which is 0 for Bionano. Here's the dividend history for Bionano according to Nasdaq.com. Okay, there's nothing, right? There's no dividends for Bionano. Okay, you take the net income, right? So net income is just the revenue minus the total expenses. So we got that, and then you divide it by the outstanding shares, average outstanding common shares. That just means outstanding shares. Okay, so we go back here. what we did for this first one is we're assuming that the total expenses are going to be 19 million total expenses, and then you add in the 4 million of revenue in there, then you get 15 million in the hole for net income. You minus that by 0, right? It's still minus 15 million. You get the net proceeds, right? And then you divide that by the shares outstanding. How did I get that shares outstanding information? Here you go. Right here, I'll link this as well for you. Here you go. I'll link this website as well. There you go. In quarter 4 of 2020, right? Quarter 4 of 2020 is going to be the 10th, 11th, and 12th of the month, right? October, November, December. And here you go. That was the outstanding shares for that for November 6th in quarter 4 of 2020. 153 million, 153.19 million. So I did the math. I literally did. And let's do that right now. Let's go ahead and fact check me right now on that. So we got minus 15 million. Minus 15, that's 15,000. There we go. Here's a comma right here, comma right here. Now, if we divide that by 153.19 million, there you go. Now, does that match up? Let's see if it matches up, okay? Let's go ahead and copy and paste this right next to each other so you can see if that matches up exactly, right? Let's go ahead and see. Paste. Here we go. Boom. It's exactly the same. So that's how you do it. It's not hard, right? It's not hard at all. You can do it. It's very easy. Just look it up and plug the numbers in, right? So that's how you get it. So in this first estimate, here we go. Negative 10 cents. 10 cents for the whole. That misses the earnings per share estimate that we were talking about earlier by the Wall Street analysts. Okay, I exited the link, but go fast rewind if you want to see that. Okay, negative 7 cents. We missed that by 3 cents. So if this happened, and remember, this is the unfairly bearish estimate, there's a 2% chance of this happening, in my opinion. So we would also miss quarter 3. We would beat quarter 4. This isn't very important. So now you have a very rough idea. You have an exact idea. You don't have a rough idea. You have an exact idea of how I actually got all this information and how I calculated this, because we just calculated it and got the same answer that I had before. So that's the first one, 2% chance of happening. We're going to be going over why I think this is having a 2% chance of happening. Number 2, second one, this is labeled as the conservative estimates. Percent chance of happening, in my opinion, is 10%, and this would be minus 5 cents, earnings per share of negative 5 cents. This would beat everything. This would be the last. I think that this would be the best. This would be the best one. Let's go ahead and look up estimated earnings so I can show you exactly what I mean here. Okay, this would be the best earnings ever if we did this, because look, we never even had anything. So if we actually got minus 5 instead of what they're projecting at minus 7, I don't know how high that would push the stock potentially, but it could be a crazy move if we did this, because we've never got that before, and that has a 10% chance of happening. I think we're going higher than that, in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing, based on my knowledge, based in my mind. That has a 10%. This has a 2% chance of happening, and the exact same calculations. If you want to plug this into your calculator, right, like we just fact check for this one, go ahead. It's pretty easy. You just do this times this, and you get this, or 5 cents in the hole. Okay, there we go. Next up, 3. This is what I would consider, or this is what I try to put my mind in the conventionally considered. If everyone else, you guys let me know in the comments if I'm missing something. I don't think I am, but I could be. But this is what I would consider a fair estimate. Okay, and my percent chance, my mind, this has a 25% chance of happening. 3 cents in the hole. We would beat the earnings per share estimates by 4 cents. We would beat the 2020 quarter 3 by 6 cents and beat the quarter 4 of 2019 by 24 cents. This could send us very high. This could send us extremely high, in my opinion. Percent chance of happening, 25%. Option number 4, this is the optimistic estimate. In my opinion, this is a 50% chance of happening. One thing that I need to mention that I have not before is this. This is quarter 4 2020. Now, this, you may be wondering, in the recent past, if you think Bionano has been doing some of this action right here, if this is where it was. If it load, come on. Okay, this one right here. Okay, exactly. This one right here, because they give stuff out for free, and I'll link this if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, but because Bionano is giving out their Sapphire and their products for free, because they just need to get out there and get people knowing what it is, that could increase operating expenses, right? But this is what's been recently happening. Probably. We don't know for sure, but this is probably what's been more recently happening. And remember, these earnings per share, the total expenses in the earnings per share is only going to be, the only expenses that are going to be included are going to be quarter 3 2021, the end of that to the end of quarter 4 2020. Did I say 2021 before? Sorry. So let me just give you a time frame of when this actually was. Okay, right right here. This is when the quarter 4 2020 started, and this is when it ended. So not recently at all. This is all of this is quarter 1 2021, right? Okay, this is the new year. This is 2021, this is 2020, and this is the start of quarter 4 2020. So this to this, that's where we're actually looking at, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. So if you think revenue has increased the last couple of months, remember this earnings per share is not based on the last couple of months. It's based on the 10th on October, November, and December of last year, quarter 4 2020. Okay, now this one, we would end up getting a earnings per share of 2 cents in the hole, beating the earnings per share estimate by 5 cents. I don't know how high these could send it. I really don't. We're going to be talking about more on that later, though. We would also beat the quarter 3 of 2020 by 7 cents and beating the quarter 4 of 2019 by 25 cents. This has a 50% chance of happening, in my opinion. I'm serious. This is just my opinion. This is why I'm so bullish on it, though. I did the research. I did 3-4 hours of research this morning, and this is what I could be totally wrong. You know, if you look down in the comments, there could be a top comment that I pinned, and they could be someone pointing out, oh, hey, you did the calculation wrong. You know, that could happen. I don't think that's going to happen, but this is my opinion. I can be wrong. Remember that, okay? Fifth option, unfairly bearish. Also, the last one was optimistic. I think I said that. Unfairly bearish estimate, in my opinion. This is where it would be positive. Now, this has a 13% chance of happening, in my opinion. Okay, and remember, guys, these ones right here. This is what most people. This is what most people would consider. This is me trying to act like a person that just is, average, not really bullish or bearish on Bionano, right? Just average person. This is what they would consider my estimate. They would consider this an unfairly bullish estimate. So we would actually be positive this time. We'd be 1 cent up as far as earnings per share. We would beat the estimates by 8 cents and beat the quarter 3 2020 10 cents and 28 cents as far as the quarter 4 of 2019. Percent chance 13%. If this happened, I think we could be going up triple digits or 50% or 10%. I mean, I think if we did this, it would be much more than 10%. I think it would be more 50 to 100 to 200% probably. I think that's just total. That's not a calculation, right? These are calculations, right? I'm showing you how I get the calculations literally. And I could be having a typo in here or a mistake or a mispronunciation or whatever it is, but this is what we're looking at. Okay, now that we've done all that, next up, this is some information that you need to know. Okay, first thing, 2019 quarter 4 earnings per share was minus 27 cents. There you go. Net 2019 quarter 4 for Bionano Genomics, right? Minus 20. There you go. Okay. 2020 quarter 3 was this. Okay. There you go. Boom. All right, there you go. I'm just fact checking this stuff for you. Very likely that Bionano has doubled revenue in quarter 4. This means that this is basically the synthesis of this whole idea, and I've given you the research and the proof on this. Okay, I've given you it all. That's why. This means, in my opinion, that that's basically the epistemology and why I think these estimates that I'm giving you, these various estimates, have their percent chances. So. Net income, we've already gone over that, right? You have to understand that if you're going to know how we actually did the calculations. Now, there's no way of knowing BNGO's net income in quarter 4, but looking historically at net income increases and movements, and looking at Yahoo Finance 12 trailing months total expenses stat, I'm assuming that it has not risen more than 520%. I am comparing to 1/4 of total 2019 expenses according to Yahoo Finance, right? This is just some more, if you didn't understand at the start, this is just me trying to give you a more visual format. We've already gone over my information for that. It'll be linked. Everything will be linked. This is just me. This is not the irrelevant section, but this is relevant to the video, but this is not like as fast paced and crazy and concise as that. This is just me for the people who are going to, write the comments that are like, no, you're wrong. I could be wrong, but you need to understand this before you start doing that, in my opinion. It will be a more intelligent comment, probably. Important factors I considered when estimating net incomes for each tier: acquisition of Lineagen, August 24th, 2020, right before fourth quarter started, right? Pretty close, right? So they were gaining revenue because of that acquisition. So that is, that's good. That's going to affect the revenue in a positive way. Earnings date was not delayed. Now, when earnings dates are delayed, this freaks people out. Bionano's was not delayed. There was some confusion. If it was delayed, it kind of seemed like it was, but actually we were expecting an earnings date on one day. And we didn't know if it was going to be earnings on that day or they were going to release the earnings date on a later time. But we knew the earnings date was coming out on one day, and they decided it was going to be on March 23rd, 2 days from now, Tuesday, this week of trading. So it was not delayed. That is, that's not bullish or bearish, but it's definitely not bearish. Okay, big money has not been selling out. To our knowledge, retail investors' information, right? Fentel.io. It's not exactly up to date, like on the freaking second information, but to our knowledge, big money has not been selling out. If they were, we would probably see large orders in the red on Webull, and we have not seen that. Bionano has been doing just fine in the recent past. If we actually look at the chart here, if we look at the hourly chart, we've been climbing these last couple of days, right? We haven't really been selling off up to earnings, so that's bullish. Even with all of this said, I do not think, I am, this is all bullish information here. I'm sure there's bearish information here, and comment below the cons to Q4 total expenses. Comment below what you think the things that could affect the total expenses in Q4 being higher than my projections here. Okay. So, by the way, with all of these, I'm always assuming in every single one of these that the Q4 revenue will be 4 million, always. Okay, just based on this. Okay, based on this picture right here. Yeah, somewhere in there. That's what I'm assuming. And the total expenses is what I'm changing. I'm assuming it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be something like this. If you divide these by 4, something like the average on that, and then as we get into the unfairly bullish ones and the 12% ones, I'm assuming the total expenses actually gone down, right? Which is definitely possible. The total expenses for Q4 definitely could have gone down, and the revenue could be even better than this preliminary estimate. It could be. It definitely could be. Okay, next up. I try to be as fair as I could for this. Let me know if I'm missing something in the comments. Okay, I hope I don't check this after I post that and there's like 7,000 dislikes, right? Because I did something wrong, but I try to do my best. Let me know if there's something that's wrong here. I did all the research. I'll link everything for you. 5 estimates, likely scenarios for each tier. Now I touched on this a little bit, but let's do a little more. If this happens, I think it's likely that we're going up at least 50% to 200%, honestly, if we actually got positive earnings per share. If this one happened, if we beat the earnings per share estimate by 5 cents and ended up with a 2 cent in the whole actual earnings per share in the Q4 of 2020, I can see probably this one has a 50% chance of happening. Also, note the percent chance of this happening. Remember, okay. And also I have to reiterate this again because I think it's confusing. It is confusing. This is very confusing for some people, I'm sure. This is just me trying to imitate a conventionally thought out person as far as my estimates. Like, this is what someone would think. Okay, they're like, okay, this is an optimistic estimate, Brandon, because this is not that likely. This is optimistic, right? A fair person, I think, in my mind, would think this is the most likely thing. And I have a 25% chance. That's my opinion. This is their opinion, I think. This is my opinion on what Orthodox people would think about my opinion, if that makes sense. Okay, I know it's complicated. I know. Take notes, subtitles, whatever you need to do. But anyways, if this happened, probably at least this could be a 20 to 50% run up. It's so hard to say, though. I don't even like doing this. That's why I'm giving you really wide ranges, because no one knows what the earnings is going to do. No one knows what it's going to be. We obviously have our estimates, right? We have more of an idea than 90% of other people do about Bionano if you actually watch this video to the end and understand it, have a rudimentary understanding of it. We have a fairly good idea of what the earnings are going to be, but we don't know for sure, and we don't know how the stock price is going to react. But I'll say 20 to 50% if this is what happened. If we got this one, I'm going to say this is going to be like 10 to 15%, in my opinion, and this could be like 100%. If we beat the earnings, we could, it could send the volume back to insane levels back when we were back in the good old days when it was right here, when I should have held, when I entered in right here somewhere and then sold right here. Oh man, yeah, but look at the volume. That's what I mean. We don't get any volume anymore these days, right? And we still sell off a ton, but these people are just holding, which is good, by the way. Technical analysis indicator there, okay? So yeah, I'll say 10 to 15, 20% on that one. This one, and remember, this what I'm giving you right now, this is what I think the stock price would react with as far as price action increase on the earnings after hours. During the after hours, I think is when the earnings is. That's what I think the stock price will do if the scenario that I'm on comes to fruition. Next one. if we beat everything by 2 cents, 4 cents, and 22 cents, in the whole 5 cents, that's what the actual earnings per share would be in this scenario. I think this again. These could all push at 100%. I think there's for some reason I think there's a lot of people that are waiting to see about the earnings per share. Especially there's more weight for companies like in Bionano stage of their lifetime as a company. They want to see earnings per share being good. That they want to see the revenue. They want to see the total expenses not being so crazy. That's what they want to see. So I think there's going to be a lot of weight on this. I think if this is good earnings, it could be really great. If it's bad, if it's like this, it could be really bad. It could be 50% down, honestly. Okay, now if this one happens, I'm gonna say this could send it anywhere from like 5% down to like 50% down or 30%, something like that. This could be really bad if we missed it by a lot, and this isn't even missing it by a lot. I mean, yeah, it's a fair amount, but and again, this is 2% chance of happening, in my opinion, based on what I know, and this could change based on what we see in the next couple of days, information, the price action, right, technicals. But these percent chance happening is just based on the financials, not the technicals or anything. But I could be calculating something wrong, and I'll clear it up. If I'm calculating something wrong, I would just delete the video because it's wrong information. I don't want to spread information that's not that good. But I don't like that. Doesn't mean I like censorship, but I'll censor myself if it's bad information, right? Um, so yeah, these are my opinions. Hopefully I did everything right. I'm pretty darn sure I did. I have all my sources here, and I'll link everything for you guys. I'll edit everything. It's gonna blow up my computer. So here we go, guys. That's pretty much it. Remember, I can be wrong on all of this. I could be looking too closely into something or missing something. I could have math miscalculations or missed data or false data. This is not financial advice. Calculations, all the information sources I used. Here we go. This is the really boring part. Okay, I'm just going to go side to side. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. There we go. I'm going to link all of these in the description. And oh yeah, and this. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this as well. Okay, so now this is basically a response. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with this post. I guess I'll leave it neutral if I can. Okay, no, I can't. Okay, I'll give it alpha, I guess. Okay, well, yeah, there's people. I was reading on this morning before I actually did this. This was actually my motivation to do this because I just saw so many people being so cynical and so pessimistic about earnings. And I did the research, and this is what I came out with. I came out with a very bullish. I extrapolated a very bullish conclusion from all this research that I did. So that was the motivation for me to do this. And so yeah, I saw a lot of negativity even on this one. It's like there's so much negativity. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. Current position is the same. It's Sunday, right? So relevant information in regards to title submission now. Feel free to click off if you have more important things to do. This is the part where I'll do the stuff most YouTubers do in the first 5 seconds. Most times Patreon link below. I can be wrong about anything. This is especially true about this one. This is not what we usually do. This is not my bread and butter. I'm still good at this. I would consider myself good at the financials and the earnings calculations and everything. I think everything's correct. Everything should be correct. Well, not correct. I hope this is not correct. I hope this one. I hope the calculations are correct, but I hope this doesn't actually happen. But remember, I can be wrong about anything. BrandonBaltCR.com. That's where you want to send your serious emails. We will check that. We will link down below. Our business model is never going to change. I removed the Bionano to the Moon one. I don't know. I just feel like everyone already knows. Like if you do the merch or you check the channel banner, you already know. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Okay, now I know this is a little ironic because I feel like some people might construe this as ironic, just because we're doing the Bionano earnings and I'm holding through earnings personally. This code does not relate to Bionano. Okay, the odds, in my opinion, are in our favor, the bull's favor for Bionano, based on what I'm seeing. And of course, by the time you're seeing this, there could be something wrong about this, and I could be deleting it, or I could be fact checking myself, or pinning a comment at the start that proves that I'm wrong on something. But let me know what you guys think. Please give me your feedback, guys, on this one. Please give me your feedback and tell me if you think everything's right. I'm pretty sure everything's right. I'm very confident. I did like 3 hours of work on this. Okay, it's not financial advice, guys. Thank you all so much. See you on the next one.